The Past of Humanity by Xue Feng. The past of humanity is a history of sufferings, a history of fights and conflicts. The past of humanity is a history of bewilderment, a history of manifestation of animal instincts. The past of humanity is a history of selfishness, a history of survival of the fittest. The past of humanity is a history of chaos, a history of giants competing for powers, religions competing for position. The past of humanity is a history of wickedness, a history that is not worthy of remembering and emulation. The current situation of human being, although there are regional extremes, humanity in general has been away from barbarism and ignorance and on its way to be more rational. While in some places there are still superstitious forces, but scientific developments have made the majority realize that superstition is the source of barbarism and ignorance, and the vital cause of social turbulence. There were some major superstitions. 1. Fanatical belief in religion. They think the religion they believe is the only right one and others are evil. However, in fact, each religion has its own blindness and a side of suppression of human nature. Fanatical belief in any religion is the result of an emotional choice, not rational. As long as religions exist, the light of human nature is not able to shine, and humanity is not able to get out of barbarism and ignorance. And war is unavoidable, and suffering of humanity will not be possible to end. 2. Frantic worship of the great. Every country has its own great men and its own founding heroes. They made immoral achievements in elimination of old forces. They are worthy to be respected. But if they are worshipped as God and Savior, a vicious cycle will begin to form, and humans will be dragging into another round of suffering. It is all right to worship a great man, but if it's over a limit, it becomes a mania. Mania is a mental illness, and it is also a new form of barbaric ignorance, which will inevitably lead to destruction and depression of human nature. Blindly follow a theory or a comedic conclusion. Academic conclusion. The development of things is progressing in the form of wave. Any theory or academic conclusion is a symbol of development from the perspective of current time and space. However, they are not perfect and are not able to cover the comprehensive contents and its extended meanings. They are not the ultimate truth. If we follow them blindly, our thoughts will be bound, and therefore new thoughts and theories are not able to emerge. We will hardly see the situation of 100 of flowers blossom, 100 of schools of thought contained, which will eventually lead to the twist of human nature and stop the progress of human civilization. Nationalism. Needless to say, each nation has its unique advantages, just like different fruits and melons, having their own taste and degree of sweetness. If watermelon and peach think they are the best and all other fruits are useless, a monomode will be taking shape. This is an extremely overbearing behavior. National pride and sense of superiority is evil. Not the manifestation of one's divinity of one's divinity at all. National pride and sense of superiority is evil, not the manifestation of one's divinity at all. The stronger the feeling, the more discrimination and the barriers it will cause among nations. As a result, human nature starts to fall. Nationalism is another form of superstition. 5. Worship of masters. There are some extraordinary and distinctive people in the history of each nation we call the master, because they have a unique viewpoint, foresight, wisdom, and possess a unique quality. It is quite reasonable we respect and call them master. But if we worship them, it becomes an infectious virus, a superstition. We see the magnificence of the universe from any twinkling stars in the sky. A nation is great if talents comes out in succession. Any master is like a shining star of that time. If we regard them as a sun and don't stop to revolve around him, the brilliancy of other stars will be covered, and the nation will not have a successor, and other nation will not have a successor. 6. Blind faith and following seek from extraordinary. A man can only be a man as long as he has the DNA of human and a body. He can be God or something else. We can't deny that life beings in other time and space could be reincarnated to human world. That is because they are bestowed by the greatest creator special abilities and wisdom, and come here with a mission which is something embodied in their DNA. These abilities and wisdom are far beyond any ordinary person can reach. As one of general public, we can only follow natural law and don't need to seek after extraordinary. If a potato wants to become a tomato, a red date wants to become a walnut, it is not only unnecessary but also impossible. We will be on the way of David. Devil. We will be on the way of devil if we are determined to possess supernatural power. For example, in the last 2 decades, the popularity of one after another gong exercise is a form of superstition and has wasted time, energy, and talents of many wise men who fall into a mud of anesthetizing and self-deceiving, who fall into a mud of anesthetizing and self-deceiving and can't get out from it, eventually lose their way. 7. Worship of gods and ghosts, communicating with spirit world. This is a fundamental superstition. As far as human beings are concerned, there are only 2 gods, Jesus and Satan, and no other gods. If there are more, they are made up by man. Humans are not eligible to title someone as God and then worship him. This is a typical superstition. As for ghosts, as long as we show no interest, they will not bother. It is not necessary to ask God to drive away ghosts. Advertising ghosts in movies, books, or verbal communication is a historic retrogression. Advertising ghosts in movies, books, or verbal communication is a historical retrogression and a wicked act incompatible and a wicked act incompatible with modern civilization. The sayings and behaviors of communicating with spirit world are destructing human nature. They are also negation of human beings. They are also negation of human beings. Spirit world does exist, but not for current human beings to communicate with. The man who can really communicate with spirit world must be a man with perfect human nature. Otherwise, the communication is not authentic or it goes astray. Or it goes astray. 8. Other superstitions. There are a variety of other numberless superstitions which are the trash descending from human history. If I criticize them here one by one, many people would not accept it emotionally. However, these superstitions will surely be out of sight and disappear as science and human civilization develops. The past of humanity is a time ruled by religion and superstition. The present of humanity is a time of science combined with religion and superstition. The future of humanity will be a time of science and religion mixing together under the light of ration. The future of humanity will be a time of science and religion mixing together under the light of ration.